Hi, so today we're going to be talking about interactions in the body. And so this kind of builds off of homeostasis because it talks a lot about how different systems work together. So we want to know, how does your body work together to keep you together? So our objectives for today are to describe what an organ system is, a little bit of review from last week. We're also going to describe how systems work together to maintain homeostasis. Remember, homeostasis is self-regulation of the body to kind of maintain things. And specifically, we're going to focus on how the nervous system and the endocrine system control the body. And we'll also explain some examples of interactions. So just a reminder from last week, organ systems are made of organs, and the idea is that they have a common function. So for example, the digestive system has a whole goal of breaking down and absorbing nutrients for breakdown. Some examples of organs within that system would be the esophagus, the stomach, and intestines. Looking overall at all the systems, some common functions include movement, so these would be things like our skeletal muscle system, protection, for example, our immune system and the integumentary system. The integumentary system is also known as skin. Intake of nutrients, coordination, and responses to things in our environment. So here's some examples of the systems. Notice they're all related, ranging from things like the reproductive system to the muscular system and the lymphatic system. So for some review from last week, we looked at temperature homeostasis. So how does your body maintain a different temperature? So here's one example of an interaction. When you want to heat up, you can shiver and use your muscular system. But that's coordinated by your nervous system and your skeletal system. Without your skeletal system, your muscles have nothing to move on. The opposite of that, so you get too hot and you need to cool down, would be sweating. This involves different systems. In addition to the muscular system, it includes your skin, your integumentary system, because sweat beads out through, and those are through glands involved the endocrine system, and the nervous system to tell yourself that your body is too hot. So focus on the nervous system. What exactly is it? The nervous system is special in that it focuses on short-term regulation. This would include stuff like your brain, your spinal cord, and all the nerves that we touch your body. In terms of nerves, there are two types of nerves. There are input nerves, which are sensory, and outputs, which tell your body what to do. So they would be called motor nerves. In between connecting those are interneurons, inter meaning between, that connect both your sensory and motor neurons. In between the nervous system, the main unit would be a neuron. A neuron is the individual cell of the nervous system. So what does this stuff look like? If we look over here, we have the spinal cord, and we have the brain, and here's the neuron. There's also an input and an output system, and these are used for a lot of signaling in the body to tell yourself what to do. In contrast, the endocrine system is all about long-term control. This involves certain glands, such as the thyroid, your ovaries, your testicles, and the pancreas, which we talked about last week, which releases insulin. The endocrine system is different in that it acts on individual cells using blood as a traveling pathway. What that means is it makes little signals that actually travel out and send it. It'd be like if I was sending little emails to every individual cell in your body telling it exactly what to do. Why does the endocrine system get as much attention, or if not more, than the nervous system? Is because it's all about long-term control. So this is the stuff: estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, steroids that show up on TV. This is all long-term control in terms of puberty and development. So the fact that you were able to develop into the young man or woman that you are, thanks to the endocrine system. So the unit of action is cellular now, and we're using something called hormones. So hormones are the main messengers involved in this system. So what are the hormones involved with? Everything from your hypothalamus to the pituitary, so stuff in your brain. This connects to why the endocrine system and the nervous system are so tightly related, as well as things like your adrenal glands that lie on top of your kidney. And we'll kind of focus on the adrenal glands in some of our next examples. So the adrenal gland releases something called adrenaline, and this is all about fight or flight. So the idea that you need to run. So the endocrine system works with the nervous system, and it senses stress through special sense organs. So these would be things like your eyes, ears, any tactile things, anything in your hands that can sense pressure. You felt the earthquake a couple weeks ago. That was because of your nervous system. And what happens is that your body releases something called adrenaline. This is the main hormone for fight or flight. And this provides additional glucose for energy, it prevents digestion and waste production. And the things that are responsible for that, when you release adrenaline, everything basically reacts. Your whole body's on high alert because the idea is to fight or flight. So you either take off, run, or hide. So this would kind of go back to when we talked about go to red, and what do? You'd be releasing a lot of adrenaline. Your whole body needs that. You can't just have one system respond. So what are the types of stress responses that could happen? So we talked about fight or flight. So in the wild, evolutionarily, what would it be good for? It'd be good if you're a cheetah trying to hunt down food. If you don't get the animal that day, you're going to starve to death. If you're the animal, you gotta live. So that's kind of like a short-term duration of stress, would be that example here. Long-term stress would be the example here with Lisa Simpson, working in the money ball example. So this is more kind of where humans are at today. We're talking about long-term stress. You're working in the stock market, you're a doctor, you work long hours, your wife is mad at you, your husband's yelling at you because you're not taking care of your kids, you're not doing your job, your chores. All that kind of goes in this long-term response, which is also bad because now, you're not trying to protect your body. Instead, what you're trying to do is to get it to survive. And so long-term stress responses, such as having adrenaline being pumped in your body all the time, I'm so stressed, I'm so stressed, I'm so stressed, can cause health problems as well because the system is not being regulated. So one of the things that you might notice from this is that one little change in all these systems can cause huge health repercussions. And this, for humans, is the exact example. If you're not relaxing and you're releasing adrenaline all the time, you can end up with a lot of health issues. Where else can you find these systems working together would be digestion. So we talked about how adrenaline can shut down your digestive system. But it's also important to realize that your digestive system relies on a lot of things to make it work. So we talked about homeostasis with insulin and glucagon. You notice that blood sugar levels low. That will signal to your stomach that you're hungry. So we got nervous system going on. We got digestive system going on. We've got food moving. So we'll talk about how food moves in a couple weeks through a series of muscle contractions. You also need your skeleton to kind of protect all that, and the intestines to help you absorb the good stuff. So things like glucose, proteins will all get absorbed through the digestive system. We also have waste and excess fluid, which is expelled. So now we're getting interactions with the cardiovascular system and movement around, as well as the excretory system to kidney and bladder. In the end, you have hormones that are released. So when I showed you those obese mice, they don't have that hormone that signals that they're full, and so that's when we have problems in the digestive system. So a lot of places in here, things can go wrong, ranging from insulin to kidney stones, where kidneys get clogged, bladder infections. We can talk about irritable bowel syndrome, IBS. We can talk about things like acid reflux, where your intestines and the acid are not working correctly, heartburn. So the idea that acids can come back up your esophagus. We could have issues with gluten, allergies, all of those under digestion. And so it's pretty amazing that all this stuff works right, just to get things, so you can eat and get rid of waste. So here's our digestive system. So a lot of moving parts that have to work, everything from your liver to your gallbladder, which is responsible for a lot of your bile and fat digestion. So if you're eating a lot of candy bars and chocolate, that's the stuff you got to worry about. Ready for your tongue. If your tongue's not functional and you're choking all the time, you could have some problems there. So why does this matter in terms of health? Waste, all this stuff's got to go right. You don't want type 7 or type 1 stool. You want kind of something in the middle, something where you're removing enough water from it. And also hydration. So if we go over to this other chart, the urine color chart, really important for nurses and doctors if you're diagnosing anybody. It's really important to really think about, what is causing these issues. I know I talked about diabetes last time with the sweet urine. You also want to worry about things that are problems in terms of your kidney, or you're not drinking enough water. That can really affect exercise, especially if you're outside in hot weather. Whether it's football field, hockey, water polo, track and field in the spring, you have to worry about things like hydration. So in conclusion, to kind of wrap up everything that I've talked about, a lot of things have to go right for you to be completely functioning. So for you to have a good system and to be okay and to be alive, you have to have everything on board. So realize that your body's a team and you're kind of in control of it. So you're making decisions, you're calling the shots. So whether you're going to decide to exercise and keep this thing in check, you're going to get preventative health care, you need to keep that in mind. It's really important that, as a class, we interact as a team, and just like your body interacts as a team. So just to wrap up, we had a lot of interactions. Take some time, write your review questions. They're fun if you're interested in seeing some more kind of complex systems, just like your body is a whole bunch of complex systems. There's these things called Rube Goldberg machines. They overcomplicate something, and the idea is that, hey, all these moving parts work together to make something really cool. It's the same theme for your body. So if you want to check it out, OK Go's music video, This Too Shall Pass, has great examples of all this stuff. So hopefully you learned something. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to give me a call, shoot me a message on School Loop, or a text message on my Google Voice. I'd be more than happy to help you out. Don't forget to write your review questions. We will be going over them on Friday. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.